Most people think manifestation is a game of mental control. Repeat enough affirmations, hold the vision tight enough, and the universe will obey. But biology tells a different story. The harder you grip, the more your body locks up, breath shortens, and your nervous system signals threat instead of safety. And this is the paradox. You can visualize a future, affirm a desire, force a smile, but if your body doesn't feel safe, the field doesn't open. And this is the paradox. You can visualize a future, affirm a desire, force a smile, but if your body doesn't feel safe, the field doesn't open. You don't transmit coherence, you broadcast survival. Imagine someone trying to hold water in their hands. The tighter they grip, the faster it slips through. That's what happens when your nervous system is locked in fight, flight, or freeze. Every effort to hold on to possibility collapses it instead. Because the field doesn't respond to your thoughts alone, it responds to your state. And your state is not what you tell yourself you feel. It's what your body is actually living. Think about the last time you waited anxiously for a reply. Refreshing the screen, heart pounding, brain rehearsing stories. You weren't embodying openness. You were embodying contraction. Or when you forced yourself into a morning affirmation, repeating "I am abundant," while your shoulders were stiff and your stomach in knots about bills. That affirmation wasn't a signal of abundance. It was a signal of threat. Because the quantum field, the space of all potential outcomes, collapses not around what you want, but what you are. And being is a whole-body transmission. This is why neuroscience has found that coherence between the heart and the brain generates the most powerful measurable field around the body. Coherence means your thoughts, feelings, and physiology are aligned, not split. But when your nervous system is dysregulated, you are split. Your mind in one story, your body in another. That split is static. That split is noise, which means the frequency you send out is scrambled, not by intention, but by incoherence. So here's the deeper truth. Manifestation isn't blocked because you don't want enough. It's blocked because your nervous system hasn't registered safety enough to allow receiving, not by force, by safety, not by chasing, by coherence. Everywhere you look in daily life, you see this principle hidden in plain sight. A driver stuck in traffic who tenses at every red light isn't just late. Their body is telling the universe they're trapped. A student staring at a blank page, frozen in perfectionism, isn't just procrastinating. Their nervous system is protecting them from the perceived danger of failure. A couple arguing, both escalating louder and louder, aren't just fighting. Their bodies are broadcasting survival threats instead of love. And what happens? The reality around them shapes itself accordingly. Doors close, ideas shrink, love feels far away. That's not punishment, that's physics. Because the body's electromagnetic broadcast is the actual language of collapse. This is why research from the HeartMath Institute shows that your heart's field extends several feet beyond your body and changes depending on whether you're in frustration or gratitude, stress or regulation. You can imagine possibilities in your mind, but if your body is in alarm, the field you generate contradicts the image, and reality always listens to the body's coherence over the mind's wish. Which is why the great shift begins not in trying harder, but in softening deeper, in teaching your nervous system that it is safe enough to open. Because only in openness does the field mirror back expansion, not in gripping, in allowing, not in resistance, in resonance. If this is clicking for you, drop one word in the comments, the frequency you choose to embody this week. Maybe it's ease, maybe trust, maybe expansion. Speak it, and notice how your body responds as you say it. And this is where the science becomes liberation. The vagus nerve, the great communicator between your brain and your body, is constantly scanning for cues of safety or danger. When it senses threat, it activates defense, faster heart rate, shallow breath, muscle tension. That state keeps you alive, yes, but it also keeps you out of creation, because creation requires surplus energy, and survival burns it. Now imagine trying to tune a delicate instrument with shaky hands. That's what it's like to manifest with a dysregulated nervous system. The signal will always come out distorted, but when you learn to regulate, through breath, movement, grounding, Even simply noticing the present moment, the instrument steadies. The body shifts from defense to receptivity, and receptivity is the exact state from which new realities collapse. This is why embodiment practices are not optional spiritual accessories, but the actual mechanics of manifestation. Without them, you're trying to bend physics with contradiction. With them, you're aligning physics with coherence. And the shift is immediate. Suddenly, the opportunities you once strained for begin to arrive. Conversations flow smoother. The call you were desperate for comes not because you chased it, but because you matched it. The nervous system is not your enemy. It's the guardian at the gate. It protects you until it learns you're safe to expand. And expansion doesn't begin in thought. It begins in physiology. If you can teach your body safety, you teach the field coherence. If you teach the field coherence, you collapse timelines with ease. So if you've been wondering why your vision board hasn't moved, why your affirmations feel hollow, why your dreams seem delayed, it's not because the universe is ignoring you. It's because your body hasn't yet agreed to receive. And that's the work. To create safety not after you manifest, but before. To live the signal of openness now. Because when the body feels safe, the field opens wide, and reality can finally mirror back the truth you've been carrying all along. Here's what most people miss. Your subconscious isn't just a collection of hidden beliefs. It's a living pattern stored in your nervous system. Every past rejection, every financial scare, every moment you felt unseen or unsafe, left not just a memory, but an imprint on your physiology. And those imprints dictate how much openness you can actually tolerate in the present. This is why someone can meditate on abundance every morning, but the moment money enters the conversation, their chest tightens. Or why a person can visualize love, but the instant intimacy deepens, their body floods with tension, and they pull away. It's not sabotage in the conscious sense. It's protection at the physiological level. The nervous system learned, this is dangerous. And until that imprint shifts, the field reads the contraction louder than the affirmation. Take the example of someone scrolling through social media. They see people celebrating success, traveling, building businesses. Their mind says, I want that. But notice the body. The shoulders hunch, the stomach clenches, the breath shortens. Without realizing it, they're broadcasting envy, inadequacy, and danger signals. The field doesn't collapse around want. It collapses around the actual signal of not safe to have. Or picture the moment you rehearse an argument in your head before a difficult conversation. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between rehearsal and reality. It floods you with cortisol, raises your heart rate, prepares you for battle. You may walk into the conversation trying to manifest peace, but your body is carrying war, and the field mirrors the war. This is the essence of the observer effect applied to human experience. Physics shows that observation collapses waves of probability into particles of reality. But what kind of observation matters? A regulated nervous system observes with openness. A dysregulated system observes with fear, which means two people can look at the same possibility. One body says safe, the other says threat, and two entirely different realities collapse. This is why healing is not separate from manifestation. It is the foundation of it. Until the body feels safe enough to open, the field will only mirror contraction, not because you're broken, but because your biology is honest. And this is the invitation. Instead of trying to override your body with force, you learn to collaborate with it. To notice the signals of contraction and meet them with presence. To expand your capacity for safety one breath, one moment at a time. Because every time your body learns safety, it tells the field, expansion is possible. And that's when manifestation begins to flow. So let's break this down even further, because this isn't just theory, it's neurobiology meeting quantum possibility. When you're in survival mode, your entire system reprioritizes. Blood flow is pulled from the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for vision, planning, and creative thinking, and it gets diverted into your limbs for running or fighting. That means the very part of you that imagines possibility, that holds a future image steady, is literally offline when your nervous system feels unsafe. And here's the paradox. You may think you're focusing harder on your vision, but in biology, harder focus under stress equals tunnel vision. You don't see more possibilities. You see less. You don't open the field, you shrink it. This is why manifestation feels like pushing against a locked door when your body is in defense. Consider the student forcing themselves to stay positive about an exam while their stomach twists with dread. They aren't creating clarity. Their brain is narrowing options down to either survive or fail. Or the entrepreneur refreshing their email every 2 minutes, waiting for an opportunity. Their nervous system has collapsed the field into one single door. One client, one yes, one reply, instead of openness to infinite routes. Or even the parent lying awake at night, repeating affirmations of trust while their chest feels heavy with fear for their child's future. The body is not lying. It is carrying fear, and the field mirrors the fear. Now here's the science. Neuroplasticity shows that every repeated thought paired with emotion rewires neural pathways. But what most miss is that emotion is not abstract, it is embodied chemistry. Hormones, heart rate, breath patterns, all feeding back into the brain. So when you say, "I am abundant," but your breath is shallow and your muscles are tight, your brain learns the association abundance mukaku stress, and the loop locks in. The longer that loop runs, the more your subconscious programs abundance not as safety, but as danger, which explains why so many people sabotage opportunities just as they arrive. The nervous system doesn't want proof of danger. It wants proof of safety. This is why embodiment is the missing link, because until your body registers a state as safe, your subconscious cannot accept it as truth. And until your subconscious accepts it as truth, the quantum field cannot collapse it into reality. The field responds not to your surface thoughts, but to your deepest coherence, not what you say, what you are, not your effort, your frequency. And frequency is carried in breath, heart rhythm, muscular tone, presence. The body is the broadcaster, the field is the mirror, and coherence is the bridge between them. So what does coherence actually look like in daily life? It's not mystical, it's measurable. Heart-brain coherence studies show that when your heart rhythm settles into smooth, ordered waves, your brain shifts into synchrony. In that state, your intuition sharpens, your capacity to perceive patterns increases, and your electromagnetic field extends stronger and cleaner into the space around you. This isn't abstract spirituality. This is physics meeting physiology. And the contrast is clear. Imagine two singers performing on stage. One is tense, straining, forcing each note. The sound is choppy, flat, unsteady. The other is relaxed, grounded, resonant. Their entire body becomes the instrument, and the music vibrates through the whole room. That's coherence. And the universe is always listening for resonance, not resistance. Look at how this plays out in micro moments. You're in traffic, the light turns red, and your body tenses. That contraction isn't just about the car. It's a broadcast of blocked. Then, later that day, you sit down to brainstorm ideas for your project, and nothing flows. Why? Because your nervous system is still broadcasting blocked, and the field mirrors it back as stagnation. Or you're on a date, and you're trying hard to impress, but your chest is tight, and your breath shallow. No matter what you say, the body is broadcasting not safe. The other person feels it, often without even knowing why. That's not bad luck. That's incoherence. But coherence can be trained. It begins in noticing the body's state before layering thought. Instead of forcing an affirmation, you pause and ask, what is my body broadcasting right now? Is it open? Is it tight? Is it safe? From there, simple practices shift the signal. A slow exhale, dropping the shoulders, feeling your feet on the ground. Gratitude not as a mental trick, but as a genuine expansion in the chest. These tiny shifts teach the vagus nerve safety. Safety translates into openness, and openness translates into possibility, which means manifestation is no longer an uphill battle. It becomes a natural echo. This is why the nervous system is the hinge between desire and reality. When dysregulated, it scrambles the message, like static on a channel. When regulated, it clarifies the signal, amplifies it, and the field responds with precision. Not by pressure, by resonance, not by effort, by embodiment. And the more often you return to coherence, the more your brain rewires to expect safety, and the more your field stabilizes in openness. Reality begins to reorganize, not because you fought for it, but because you matched it. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. Regulation isn't just about calming down, it's about expanding capacity. Most people think safety means stillness, but in truth, safety means adaptability. The ability of your nervous system to move between activation and rest without getting stuck. Picture a dancer on stage. They can leap, spin, pause, and sway, all with grace because their body trusts itself. That's coherence in motion. Now picture someone stiff, moving robotically, overthinking each step. The music is the same, but the expression collapses. That's what happens when your nervous system can't regulate. Your reality becomes rigid, repetitive, predictable. Think of the everyday ways this shows up. You sit down to write an email, and instead of letting words flow, you freeze and reread each line 10 times. Not because you don't know what to say, but because your body doesn't feel safe to be seen. Or you go grocery shopping and realize you're holding your breath in line, nervous about how long it will take. That tightness isn't about the checkout. It's the body rehearsing scarcity, saying time isn't safe. Or you finally meet someone who excites you, but your system floods with nervousness and you disconnect before intimacy can grow. None of these are conscious sabotage. They're nervous system patterns shaping reality. And here's the link to manifestation. Your system can only allow in what it feels capable of holding. If your capacity is small, reality meets you there. If your capacity expands, reality floods in to match it. This is why people say things arrive all at once when they finally soften into trust. It's not luck, it's bandwidth. The field was always carrying infinite probability, but until your body could hold more, it stayed invisible. Regulation widens your lens, it opens new doors, it turns tunnel vision into panoramic perception. Neuroscience confirms this. When the parasympathetic system is active, the prefrontal cortex lights up, creativity surges, problem-solving expands. In quantum terms, more potential realities become available. In human terms, synchronicities multiply. The conversation you accidentally overhear, the idea that pops into your head in the shower, the opportunity you notice that you would have scrolled past before, these are all signs of capacity widening. Not magic, biology meeting physics. And the echo is always the same. Not by grasping, by opening, not by tightening, by trusting. And yet here's the part few talk about. Your nervous system doesn't just protect you from danger. It can also resist expansion if expansion once felt unsafe. Think about it. If as a child you celebrated too loudly and were shamed, your body may now equate joy with danger. If you once received love only to have it withdrawn suddenly, your body may equate intimacy with threat. If you once earned more money only to watch it vanish quickly, your body may equate abundance with loss, which means your system can misinterpret the very thing you desire as unsafe, and so it blocks it. Not consciously, but automatically. The subconscious learns, the body remembers, and the field mirrors. Picture a woman offered a promotion. Consciously she wants it, but her body tightens at the thought of new responsibility. She procrastinates on signing the contract. The opportunity slips away. Or a man meets someone deeply aligned, but when connection deepens, his chest clamps and he withdraws. Not because he doesn't want love, but because his body equates closeness with pain. Or even the artist whose work begins attracting attention, and suddenly they self-sabotage deadlines. Their system isn't resisting success, it's resisting exposure that once felt unsafe. This is why healing isn't about forcing the body into new situations. It's about gently teaching the body that expansion can now be safe, one small step at a time. Regulation practices literally rewire the nervous system's set point for safety. And as that set point expands, more possibilities become tolerable, receivable, livable. You don't just imagine abundance, you embody that abundance feels safe. You don't just affirm love. You embody that love feels safe. And the quantum field collapses around embodiment, not imagination alone. From a physics perspective, this is coherent stabilizing. A system in resonance maintains signal without distortion. From a biological perspective, it's neuroplasticity, new wiring encoding new associations. From a human perspective, it's liberation, finally realizing the thing you've been chasing isn't missing. It's waiting for your body to trust it. And that's when timelines collapse. That's when reality shifts. Not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. Not by chasing, by becoming. So let's open this fully, slowly, in depth, because the breakthrough is in the details. At the core of this work lies a principle both neuroscience and quantum physics agree on. The state of the observer changes what is observed, and you are both the observer and the broadcast. When your nervous system is in survival, you don't just feel limited, you literally collapse fewer options into form. Why? Because survival reduces bandwidth. It narrows awareness. In biological terms, the amygdala hijacks your attention, scanning only for threats, filtering out neutral or positive cues. You can walk past an opportunity, a person, an open door, and not even register it. Not because it wasn't there, but because your nervous system filtered it out of your perception. And perception determines manifestation. You can't receive what you can't perceive. Now let's bring this into lived reality. Imagine you're walking into a networking event. One version of you is tense. Your heart is pounding, your shoulders hunched, your inner dialogue loud with doubt. You glance quickly, avoid eye contact, assume everyone else is already connected. You leave early. Your field collapses around contraction, and the probability of meeting the right person disappears. Another version of you, same event, but regulated. Your breath is steady, shoulders relaxed, your nervous system saying, safe. Now you notice someone else standing quietly. You approach, a conversation flows, and a collaboration is born. The difference wasn't luck. It was nervous system state determining perception, which determined the collapse of reality. Or take another micro scenario. You're sitting with your laptop ready to write. Dysregulated, your body feels pressure, your chest tightens, your thoughts swirl, and you spiral into procrastination. The page stays blank. The field mirrors stagnation. Regulated, your body feels open. You start typing without overthinking. Words flow, the field mirrors expansion. Same task, same environment, two radically different outcomes, all because of the signal your nervous system was transmitting. This is the mechanics of manifestation most people miss. They believe it's about mind over matter, but biology doesn't work that way. The body has a louder vote. In fact, studies in embodied cognition reveal that the majority of decision-making happens beneath conscious awareness. Driven by interoception, the signals your organs, breath, and viscera send upward to the brain. That means when you say, I want success, but your gut says unsafe, your gut wins. Not because it's sabotaging you, but because it's protecting you. The subconscious lives in your body, not your affirmations. So the question becomes, how do you teach your nervous system that what you desire is safe? First, through presence. Regulation begins not in changing, but in noticing. The moment you feel contraction, the clenched jaw, the racing heart, the shallow breath, you've already found the block. That sensation is the broadcast. Instead of overriding it, you pause. You breathe slower. You place a hand on your chest. You tell your system, here now, we are safe. These micro moments accumulate, training your vagus nerve to associate openness with safety. Second, through incremental exposure. If abundance feels unsafe, you don't jump into massive risk. You let your body practice receiving small amounts, a compliment, a gift, a moment of rest, and you savor it without bracing. If intimacy feels unsafe, you practice micro-connections, sustained eye contact, a deeper exhale while being seen. These repetitions rewire the associations in your nervous system. Safety expands, capacity grows, and the field begins to mirror back bigger, bolder outcomes. Third, through coherence practices. Heart-focused breathing, gratitude not as a forced thought, but as an embodied expansion. Meditation that brings attention into the body instead of escaping it. When brain and heart waves synchronize, the electromagnetic field around you becomes ordered, measurable, expansive. And physics shows, an ordered system influences probability fields more powerfully than a chaotic one. You literally broadcast cleaner, and reality responds cleaner. Think about this like a telescope lens. If the lens is fogged, the stars are still there, but you can't see them. You aim, you squint, you force focus, but the image blurs. That's manifestation from dysregulation. Now clear the lens. Suddenly the stars are visible, sharp, dazzling. Nothing external changed. Your lens did. That's manifestation from coherence. The universe didn't withhold. Your nervous system filtered. And when the filter shifts, the whole sky opens. And the beauty is this: your nervous system can be trained. Neuroplasticity means that no imprint is permanent. Every breath of regulation, every moment of embodied presence, every new association of safety literally carves new pathways. In time, the body no longer needs convincing. Safety becomes natural. Openness becomes the baseline. And from that baseline, manifestation is not a struggle, it is inevitability. Because when the nervous system stops blocking, the field stops resisting. And when the field stops resisting, your reality reorganizes fast. Sometimes in subtle ways. A smile from a stranger, a thought that feels lighter, a sense of space in your chest. Sometimes in dramatic ones, the job, the relationship, the opportunity arriving seemingly out of nowhere. But it was never out of nowhere. It was always waiting in the field, waiting for your body to open the door. So the secret isn't to push harder, think stronger, or want more. It's to build the physiology of safety, to expand the body's capacity for openness, to live coherence before the evidence arrives. Because once the nervous system feels safe, reality has no choice but to mirror that safety back as abundance, love, and expansion, not by pressure, by presence, not by fear, by frequency, not by grasping, by becoming. And now we arrive at the closing truth, the integration, the place where science, embodiment, and spirit meet. Everything you desire already exists in the quantum field as probability. Every version of you, abundant, loved, free, creative, fulfilled, is already vibrating as potential. But the timeline you live in depends on the signal you broadcast, and that signal is not built from thought alone, it's built from the state of your nervous system. The body is the antenna, the subconscious is the wiring, and coherence is the frequency that tunes the station. When your body feels unsafe, you tune to survival. The station you receive is limited, heavy, repetitive. When your body feels safe, you tune to expansion. The station you receive is creative, abundant, limitless. The difference is not effort, it's regulation. Let's ground this in everyday life. A young man sits on the edge of his bed in the morning, dreading the day. His chest feels tight, his stomach heavy. He mutters affirmations. I am successful, I am powerful, but his body transmits despair. His reality echoes that despair back. Conversations feel closed, opportunities slip, the day drags heavy. Another morning, another version of him pauses. He breathes slower. He notices the tightness and softens it. He places his feet on the ground, senses the stability beneath him, and whispers the same affirmation. But this time, his body is aligned with his words. The chest expands, the breath deepens, the nervous system registers safety. His reality mirrors back possibility. A conversation flows easier, a door opens, energy builds instead of drains. 2 mornings, 2 realities. Same person, different state. Or consider the woman in love. She dreams of deeper connection, but every time her partner leans in, her body braces. She tells herself she wants intimacy, but her nervous system equates closeness with danger. The field mirrors back distance. Healing begins not with forcing closeness, but with teaching the body safety, pausing, breathing, allowing one layer at a time. As the nervous system learns safety and intimacy, the field mirrors love, not because she earned it, but because she embodied it. Even in the smallest acts, this truth unfolds. Waiting in line at the grocery store, someone grows impatient, tense, restless. Their nervous system says, blocked. The field reflects more blocks: traffic after leaving, irritability at home, fatigue by nightfall. Another day, same line, but they breathe, soften, notice the present. Their nervous system says, safe. The field reflects openness. They strike up a light conversation, receive a smile, arrive home with unexpected ease. These are not coincidences. They are the nervous system collapsing probability into aligned reality. And here's the scientific confirmation. Studies in psychophysiology reveal that coherent states, gratitude, compassion, ease, don't just feel good. They regulate immune function, optimize hormone release, and extend the electromagnetic field measurable around the body. In quantum terms, this coherence broadcasts a steady frequency that influences probability collapse. In human terms, it feels like flow. Neuroscience calls it integration. Physics calls it resonance. Mystics call it alignment. But all are pointing to the same reality. Safety equals coherence, and coherence equals manifestation. So how do you live this truth? Not by forcing your body to comply, but by befriending it. By making regulation your ritual. When stress rises, you return to breath. When contraction comes, you soften into awareness. When fear whispers, you remind your system of safety. Over time, safety becomes the baseline, not the exception. And from that baseline, manifestation ceases to be a chase. It becomes a natural byproduct of your state. Because reality does not respond to what you demand. It responds to what you embody. This is why the most powerful shift is subtle, living as if your body is already safe. Speaking not from tension, but from breath. Acting not from panic, but from grounded presence. Receiving not with bracing, but with openness. Each small embodied choice teaches your nervous system a new truth, and that truth ripples into the field, collapsing timelines into form. So if you've been asking why your manifestations stall, the answer is simple and profound. Your body may not yet feel safe to receive. And the work is not to force safety after the manifestation arrives, but to embody safety before. That is how you signal the field. That is how you align probability. That is how you collapse possibility into reality. If this resonates, ask yourself right now, what frequency am I willing to embody this week? Trust, ease, openness. Drop one word in the comments, not as performance but as declaration, because the moment you speak it and feel it, you begin training your nervous system to live it. And if you're ready to keep exploring how science and spirit meet, if you want to keep rewiring your body into coherence and opening the field of possibility, hit subscribe and join this community of coherence. Because the truth is, manifestation doesn't come from forcing reality to bend. It comes from teaching your body safety, embodying resonance, and letting the universe mirror back the state you've already chosen. Not by pushing, by opening, not by grasping, by becoming. And when you become, reality cannot help but meet you there.